Monica. I haven't made a video in a really long time, and I thought it was time to make something and just kind of share an update about what's going on in my life. Mainly because I've gone through a lot of stuff in the past few months, and there's been a lot of insights, spiritual insights that I've gained and learned that I feel would be valuable to you. If you follow me on Facebook, you've probably heard some of the stuff that I've gone through in the last few months, but if you haven't, I'll just give a brief, share briefly what that is. I was living in Sedona, and then I decided to move from Sedona to Portland, Oregon to go for a retreat, a spiritual retreat. And when I was there, I learned a lot, and I gained a lot of insights, and I healed a lot. But then I also got really sick. I got really sick to the point that I had to leave Oregon and come back to be with my family. And that was not something that I had planned, because if you've watched my previous videos, you probably know some of the history of my story or my interactions with my family, which haven't been easy in the past. But there was something that, when all of this happened, I kind of felt guided to understand that it was time to heal stuff with my family, and that was the main reason why I returned, because I could have stayed in Portland and continued to, really fight what I was going through and just try to get better, but I kept feeling inside of me a pull to come back to my family and to try to heal stuff with them. It took me about 3 months to get better, or to get to the point where I am now, where I can finally start making videos, and I can walk around and do the normal stuff that I wasn't able to do before when I got sick. And I feel really grateful to be here right now, because I really thought I was gonna die. I started having a lot of nightmares, and I couldn't sleep, and my body just started shutting down. The only thing that kept me going was my connection to God, or what I call Divine Father, because that's where I would go to when things would get really hard for me. I would just pray and go to that part of myself, and at times it was very hard to even connect to that part of myself, because what was going on in my life was just so chaotic and just really stressful that there was a few times where I wanted to give up. But then something, what I focused on was mostly just getting through the day. So I would just pray to God to help me get through today, and to wake up alive tomorrow and feeling better tomorrow. And that was kind of what just kept me going. Each day I just kept waking up. And that was one of the things that really helped me get through that difficult time. And then also, I think my parents or my family seeing how much I was in pain. I think that they saw that I'm human. I go through experiences that are not as easy, and I think just like everybody else. And I think that they saw that probably for the first time, and they were able to really be there for me. And it was really healing to go through that, because that was very new for me, to have all that support, and it was really healing. So that was another thing that really helped me get through all the crazy stuff that I went through. What else do I want to share? I think for me, the biggest lesson that I've learned from this is that you can't really live a fulfilling and completely whole life until you let go of grudges and you let go of anger that you have towards people. Because, there's, you think that by holding on to the grudges or the anger, somehow that's protecting you from ever getting hurt again. But it's not, because you're continuing to hurt yourself by holding on to these grudges and this anger and all these feelings that are not necessarily healthy to hold on to. I'm not saying it's not okay to feel angry when somebody does something that you don't feel is right. It's okay to feel anger and sadness and all that stuff, but at some point you gotta just let it pass and just let it go. And what helped me to let go of these feelings or these experiences was just understanding that the more that I held on to the anger and to to the grudges that I had and the hurt and stuff, the more that I was hurting myself, and it was weighing me down. Like, I noticed in the past where, like, there was times where I really tried to make different choices, but it wasn't working. Like, no matter what I did, like, things weren't working, and I didn't understand why. Like, 'cause I was really putting the effort to make different choices in my life, but I kept ending up in the same, repeating the same story. This experience really taught me that the only reason that was happening is because I was still holding on to grudges and anger and that kind of stuff. And that's what was blocking me from really creating what I really wanted for myself. Another thing that was really valuable is just understanding that how important it is to have a connection to God or to spirit or whatever you call it, because I'm not religious, so call it whatever you want. But it's really important to have that connection, because I learned that that's really all that exists. Like we think that our environment is real, or that the things outside of us are real, but they're not really real. Like, the only thing that is real is your connection to God, because when you pass away, that's the only thing that's left. So it's really important to have that connection, because when you go through really hard experiences or tough experiences, like some of the experiences that I've gone through, like, it's good to have that support inside of you, and to know that you're going to be okay. Like, no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. You're going to get through it. And like, if you did pass away, like, you're not really dying. Like, your body may be not maybe functioning as well, but your spirit still lives, and you can only know that by connecting to God, or having that connection to spirit, and really getting to know yourself from that level. If you don't have God in your life, like, I think it's really impossible to trust that there's more, or that you don't, that you're not really gonna die when you die, and that there's more, and that this is just a story you're living, and then when you leave the story, you still exist. The biggest message that I have is just don't give up on yourself. Like, I grew up, in an environment where I really felt like I didn't belong in my environment. I'm the kind of person where, like, if I see any injustice, especially with authority figures, I will say something. I don't just stay quiet. Like, when I was younger, I did, but as I started getting older, like, I don't just sit there. Like, I will say something, and I will stand up to them, because that's how God made me. Like, that's who I am in here. Being this way is not necessarily wasn't necessarily very conducive to the kind of traditional environment that I was raised in, and I don't think it was a bad thing or anything like that, but I really felt outcasted because of that, because I wasn't following what it was expected of me. I was following more what I felt was right in here in my heart. I think that having a spiritual practice, or meditating, or just like having that connection to spirit and God, it just really makes you really solid in yourself, to the point where, like, when you're around people like that, like, it doesn't matter what they say anymore. Even if they're your parents, like, it just no longer affects you, because you know who you are, and you can feel and hear God, in here so much that, like, when somebody says something about you that's not real or is not true, like, you feel God's voice stronger than their voice. So, like, whatever they say, it doesn't affect you anymore. It might hurt a little bit, but it doesn't change who you really are. And you realize that that's just their perception of you, and it doesn't mean it's real. And what I've been practicing a lot lately has been just, forgiveness, and also just understanding that they, the way that people act is the way that they treat themselves. So if somebody is treating me in a way that I don't feel is right, I actually feel kind of sorry for them, because that shows me that that's the way that they were treated when they were kids, and they learned that, and so they just keep acting that out, and it just really shows me how much they're struggling inside themselves. And it makes me feel sad for them, especially knowing that life could be better, and is better. The possibility is there. You just have to make a different choice, and just really commit to it. I think that's all I'm going to share for this video. I just wanted to give you a brief update of what's going on and just share some insights about things that I've learned in the past few months, because I feel they're very valuable and I hope you find them valuable too. I will see you next time. Bye.